Hey Bat fans, Luke here, back, ready to bat chat about this week's Bat book, and this week is highlighted by Batman Detective Comics issue 981, which serves as not only the finale to the Batman Eternal story arc, but it also serves as the final issue of James Tynion's run on Detective Comics before he jumps ship to go over and do Justice League Dark, title after hearing some of his feedback on Twitter, but not a title that is like one of the things he really would want to do in comics. So good for him, and I'm sure he's going to do a great job on Justice League Dark. This here is the main cover. Kind of going between the main cover and the variant. I don't know. What's cool about this cover, if you take it in contrast, it's a very good bookend to this run. I say that, look in comparison to the very first issue of Detective Comics coming off of the relaunch of Rebirth. You see they're very same as far as the theme that's kind of going for, and aesthetically almost the same, minus a couple here and there little minor details. Obviously we don't see spoiler and Clayface whatnot on the main cover, but still if you look at it, very thematically similar, and again it serves as a good bookend to the series. Man, that variant cover by Albuquerque is really great too. I love how you kind of get the bat symbol kind where his chest would be. So I don't know. I think I might just do a cop out and say this one might be a tie, because I really do like this, the main cover too. Oh hell, you know what? Who am I kidding? I think I'll give the nod to Albuquerque by the slimmest of margins, because this was still a very good cover. So Detective Comics, yes, we're getting ready to go into a short little run with Brian Hill. He's going to do some Batman and Black Lightning story. I was getting ready to say stories, but I think it's just one short little chunk before we get the next creative team, which who knows who it's going to be. Haven't really announced it, and the fact that they're being really hush-hush about it, it's either A, got me concerned, because that it might be just kind of treading water till they get to issue 1000, when maybe then they'll get the creative team switch, or it's someone really big and they're just waiting. So I don't know who it is, but I will say Detective Comics as a whole, if you look at it, it's been solid since Rebirth. Has it been perfect throughout? No. Has it had some cringy moments in it? Yes. Pretty much the majority, anything Stephanie Brown was kind of cringy in this. And you kind of joke about it, but you kind of wonder, was that by design? Was that something James Tynion trying to do on purpose? Kind of like, when Damian was introduced, circa, Batman and Son, and Grant Morrison's run, where it was like deliberately written just to be a little shit. Was that something that Tynion was trying to do? You almost think it had to be, but be that as it may, it did have some ups and downs. It started off, it was the superior Bat book, but I think Tom King's Batman did kind of catch up toward the end. But if I kind of look at it, it would literally, it went high, there's a little lull there, and it kind of maintained, then dipped a little more, then it really started going up on an uptick, especially for me anyway. I think it kind of really started that upward climb around that annual issue we had, by kind of like the origin of Clayface. And while there are some parts of this story that's made me kind of not love it as much, I still thought I was on an upward trend. But you gotta look at it with Detective and what James Tynion done on this, is that he really did make Detective Comics a bad title that really should kind of maintain some prominence, because let's be real, the New 52, it was a rough ride for Tech. Coming right before it, you had Snyder and the Black Mirror. It was on, really start off on a really high note, going right into the New 52. And Tony S. Daniels' run, not going to beat a dead horse. Great to look at, stories, meh. And then Layman got on. Layman's run was good. Then we had Buccellato and Manifold, and they had that criticism. Then it just went to the very end. Manifold and Blanco. And Blanco, he has done like a total 180. He is just kicking ass on Batwoman. Check out his work on Batwoman. It is really great. He's kind of using like the theme you might see in James Williams III, but he's bringing a different take to it, and it just looks great. But I will say his tech run was, while reading it, wasn't that bad, but if you look in kind of hindsight, it was, eh. And then I just go back how it ended with the Joker's daughter, and it was just bleh. It just, tech wasn't really in a good place. But James Tynion, gotta give him credit, put Detective Comics back on prominence, and that's a good thing. There are a lot of people will tell you there's certain books that just need to be good all the time because they are literally like the prominent DC books. And this is not me. I'm not saying anything original, but I mean Batman, detectives, Superman, action, Wonder Woman, Justice League, and then maybe on the periphery, Flash. Again, it's not really original thought. Many people have said that, but it's certain books that need to be good. Just need to be good. You got to put the right talent on there, and it got to be managed right. And I think Detective Comics got back on that prominent run because of James Tynion's work, along with the artists he's had on this run as well. So kudos to him for that. So the way this kind of wrapped up, I thought this was a pretty good ending. Again, it's a good bookend, and for the most part, what it did, it just kind of set the stage for how this might go forward. You read this, first off, the art by Eddie Burrows was just freaking phenomenal. Again, the colorist does definitely get a nod. Adriano Lucas, great colors. Burrows' art just phenomenal. I'm not going to really beat a dead horse here because I mean it's Eddie Burrows' art. Started the run. This is actually, if you look at it, this is the exact creative team that started Tech and now they ended it. And I think artistically on the visual side, it was great. I have no complaints on the art whatsoever. It was a visual treat to look at. Only maybe this, for some reason, I saw Kate's face here. This is when they're going out to dinner with Bruce at the very end. It just looks very mannequin-like for some reason. But that'd be like the most minor of complaints ever in this issue. I mean, I just love this one page right here. You got Kate's head and where the hair will be. It's kind of like they have the skyline with Azure. It's just, the art's great. I love this little three-course splash of Batwoman, which, oh man, I'm really excited to get this book too. It's coming out pretty damn soon too. Enrico Marini, just great. Yeah, I have no complaints in the art. Good mix of paneling, standard with a little bit of thing just to kind of break the monotony, which I thought was always great. Just, but in this issue, you see a lot of art within. It just really sets home emotion, which I think Eddie Burrows did a phenomenal job of. Kind of do want to have the last page of Batman. I mean, look at that. That is just freaking superb. So kudos to Burrows and team on the art. It's just nothing to really. There's one minor little meh about, and that was not even that big of an issue. Story-wise, it was good. It did kind of wrap up kind of nicely, but I think what anyone would kind of complain about it, I don't want to go too far in depth in this because I don't want to spoil too much of the details. I will say, I mean, I think it goes without saying, we knew that the general was going to be kind of beat, and he was taken out and defeated through the help of spoiler. Just kind of get that out there. But it was done way too easily for my liking. It kind of is what it is. Basically, Tim's able to kind of get influence from spoiler through comms and whatnot, and it just obviously spoiler talking enables Tim to kind of shake the cobwebs a little bit. But Ulysses gets beat, and not only that, other than Tim getting control of the system and he basically wipes out the Belfry, you really don't see what happens with the general. So, I mean, I got it. Now he's kind of put in a place where he can be kind of used again. But he was kind of beat really quick, nonchalantly, for my liking. And, again, it's just, you really get no closure on the general in this, and because everything else you get closure for the most part, except for kind of like the driving factor of the story, which was the general's influence, and you really don't get much. And that was kind of a nitpick. I will say the conversation we had with Tim and Batwoman was, I liked it. And we all find out what's basically coming down to is that the image and the belief that Batwoman was the main cause of all the bad stuff in the future turned out to be a lie. And I don't want to ruin too much of what the lie was, because I thought once you kind of get the gist of the story, it's one that it's believable. This is one thing you would think Bruce would do, and in the future, and kind of like a sacrifice he will make not only for Gotham but for the members of the Bat family as well. And I do find out that basically it's all a lie, and Batwoman Kate is not the evil person that she was being painted by the general to get Tim's influence in it. Kind of going in toward the end again. This all kind of wraps up, kind of puts everything back, or puts it in a way kind of going forward, which makes you believe that going forward with Detective, I don't think this is going to be a team book. I think we're going to get away with that, because if you look at it, basically what happens is Tim and Spoiler, they kind of go off on the sunset, is led to believe that they're going to go, Tim's going to go to school, but basically with all the visions that Spoiler had seen with, the different timelines, her being a Batgirl, and even a Robin, there could be some studying and stuff that Tim, it piques his interest. So they're going to go off do that. One thing I thought was really interesting was Cassandra. Bruce did offer Cassandra to stay at Wayne Manor, but she elected to go to Leslie Tompkins Free Clinic to kind of stay there. And she's going to be mentored by, which I saw this and I thought this was just great, Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon is going to be kind of like her teacher. And if you know anything about the Cassandra character, the relationship between Cassandra and Barbara, back pre-New 52, especially when Barbara was Oracle, this is classic. So I hope they kind of use this as kind of like a springboard, and it would be nice to kind of see something, some way, with a Orphan Cassandra type of story, or a book, or maybe even kind of mixed in with Barbara and Batgirl. Them kind of have some adventures. I love that relationship. But one thing that made me really kind of interested was that while this is going on, we do see Basil Carlo kind of come on the periphery, leave a note for Cassandra as he goes with Dr. October, I believe, I can remember the name, for him to leave Gotham. So he's no longer dead. We kind of figured he wasn't going to stay dead for very long, which now leaves Clayface back on the board to kind of be used by other creative teams for future stories. Again, this is the touching moment we have with Bruce and Tim as Tim gets ready to go off and do his thing. And lastly, this comes back to Batwoman. Batwoman, which, again, one thing you do want to give credit for James Tynion, is that he really did bring Tim Drake. I mean, love him or hate him, whatever, and that's your prerogative. But for me, I thought he was just bastardized during the New 52. And I think, I give James Tynion credit for kind of putting Tim back in a place where he kind of used to be. In addition to that, Kate Kane. In Batwoman, that was just a train wreck at the end of New 52. So give credit to James Tynion bringing Kate Kane originally back in Detective Comics, and the success they had in Detective ultimately led to get her own series. And the series with Marguerite Bennett right now, it kind of has its ups and downs, but you do feel Kate kind of back in a good place. Because, to be honest, at the end of New 52, it was sort of well, not sort of. It was a mess. What's that knucklehead? And Draco, he really did it the number, and now he's doing someone else, and I was like, oh boy. So Either way, another thing to give James Tynion credit. He got Tim Drake and Kate Kane back in a good place. And this kind of launches off where Kate's next job appears to be going up against someone called the Religion of Crime, which does kind of have, like, in name, sort of a tie, what we saw in Pre-New 52 and Elegy. But it's clearly made here that not only is that the colony dismantled, this is something that Batwoman's kind of go off doing her own thing. So I think all the family members within Tech are now kind of off doing their own thing. And now it just kind of leaves, Batman and Bruce Wayne kind of by himself. Which, to be honest, I'm okay with. Detective, as long as it kind of has like a different feel from Batman, has its own kind of niche, I'm okay with kind of him going in the zone. But it just seems to me that the team aspect's not really going to be there. Overall, again, great. It was a great read, great art. Again, the only bad thing I would say about it again is that the general got wrapped up really quick and kind of happened off on the periph, and there's really no closure to it. But yeah, still good. It was a good bookend, and might not have been maybe the perfect ending for Tynion's run. I do think maybe this is something that he maybe planning on going a little bit longer, kind of fleshing some things out. But still, it was fun, and it made me kind of appreciate damn near 981, 54, almost 50 issues of Tynion's run on Detective. So it was great while it lasted, and hopefully Brian Hill does a good job in his short little run before we get into, hopefully, will be the next permanent team taking Tech into issue 1000 and beyond, and continues the high mark that Detective is on right now. So if I had to give this a score, I would give this 3.5 out of 5. Maybe flirting to a 4, but I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Good, not perfect, but especially I would definitely bump up Detective probably as a whole during this run. That might be something I kind of do at some point, kind of just look at Tynion's run on Tech and kind of just go story arc by story arc or something. But I think as a whole, again, it was a great run. So hopefully Brian Hill does a great job. So anyway, hit me up in the comments below what you thought of this issue. We'll bat chat and go from there. I've been on a roll with videos. Probably have at least one more left in me. Don't know if it will be the 4th volume of Legends of the Dark Knight, or do I go ahead and do Batman Ninja. But again, I got some time coming off from work, so I'm going to be cranking out some videos. So bear with me as I spam your inbox, but hopefully you're in the mood for bat chatting, because I think I'm going to be doing that here quite a bit here shortly. So anyway, until next video, take care.